welcome to another exciting episode of Nerd Central. I'm Krista Ott. Channing has the week off. This week we ask if we can feel the love tonight with our Valentine's Day special. We have our next installments of Digital Dreams, Anime Academy, Taking a Bite, and Scary Movie 101. Plus, we battle to see what is the best James Cameron film on Showdown. But first, let's take it to some TV news. Uncertainty is the worst for any show. Are you gonna get canceled or will you live for another season? Fortunately for these three shows, we now know the answer. The first is The Walking Dead. The AMC show has been running for 9 seasons and will be getting a 10th. This comes at no surprise as AMC has plans for a trilogy of films focusing on Andrew Lincoln's Rick Grimes after Lincoln left the show earlier this season. The announcement came about a week before the second half of season 9 debuted. Up next is Modern Family. The ABC series has been renewed for an 11th season, but sadly this will be its last. Starting all the way back in 2009, Modern Family tells the story of 3 different types of families: a gay couple, a blended family, and a traditional family. During its run, Modern Family won 5 Emmy Awards for Best Comedy Series. This show has jump-started the careers of several of its cast, including Sofia Vergara, Sarah Hyland, and Ariel Winter, to name a few. We here at Nerd Central would like to thank Modern Family for 11 amazing years, and we can't wait to see what the cast does next. Unfortunately, this is not the only show ending. Legion will also come to a close after only 3 seasons. The FX show follows David Haller, played by Dan Stevens, as he is diagnosed with schizophrenia, but discovers he has powers that could change the world. This series also stars Aubrey Plaza, Jean Smart, and Jermaine Clement. The creator of the show, Noah Hawley, had always envisioned Legion as a 3-season show. The 3rd and final season of Legion will debut sometime this year. Now let's take it to our anime segments, Digital Dreams, and Anime Academy. Take it away, guys.
Hello and welcome back to Digital Dreams with Devin Van Zandt. We covered a lot of the basic rules last week, so if you're confused after this, check that out on YouTube. With that out of the way, we can jump into the first season of Digimon, Digimon Adventure. This season actually begins with a short film that hit theaters the day before the series premiered. It's also called Digimon Adventure, and it follows the events of the Heighton View Terrace incident in 1995. In it, a 7-year-old Tai Kamiya and his 4-year-old sister Kari harbor a digital dinosaur and witness a fight between it and a giant parrot. A number of other children also witness the event and apparently forget about it entirely, so the whole thing is chalked up to a terrorist attack. 4 years later, Tai and 6 of the other witnesses are at summer camp when 7 devices called Digivices fall from the sky, and the kids are whisked away to the digital world where they each meet the in-training or Baby 2 versions of their partner Digimon. Pretty much immediately, the kids are backed into a corner, and their partners digivolve into their rookie or child forms: Gomamon, Tentomon, Biyomon, Agumon, Gabumon, Patamon, and Palmon. This is the form we'll most often see them in. If you're wondering about the Mon thing, it's a reference to file name extensions. Tento means ladybug, and he's a digital monster, so his name is Tento.mon. Tentomon. It's kinda cute. The gang treks all over File Island for a way home, battling Digimon who have been possessed or driven mad by black gears. This leads them to their first big bad, Devimon, a champion or adult Digimon. Patamon uses all of his energy as Devimon's antithesis, Angemon, and teaches us that Digimon don't die, they're simply reformatted. Unfortunately, there's an even stronger big bad, and the kids have to travel to the server continent to find their crests and tags. Each crest has a specific character trait attributed to it, and they allow the Digimon to advance to their ultimate or perfect forms. Then an even worse guy appears named Myotismon, and he's trying to go to the real world to find the 8th chosen child, Tai's sister, who's been sick until now. Kari is recruited, and the kids and Venom Myotismon have one last battle. Agumon and Gabumon get Mega or Ultimate transformations, and 4 even worse dudes show up, and it turns out that everyone else has just been a pawn in their plan. They've conquered the digital world and rearranged everything, so the kids have to go back to stop them. Then an even worse dude shows up named Apocalypse, and it turns out he created the Dark Masters and changed all the rules before the kids even showed up. He wants to turn both worlds into a living underworld and destroys the crests and tags. But it turns out the power was inside them all along, and they seal away Apocalypse forever. Things start to go back to normal in Digiworld, but the kids have to say goodbye because biological life can't survive being reformatted. So that's Digimon Adventure. It's well beloved by fans both for starting the Digimon craze, as well as being one of the more pure incarnations of the idea. Tune in next week on YouTube when we cover the less beloved sequel, Digimon Adventure 02. Thanks for watching.
Hello, I'm Drew and welcome to Anime Academy. In this segment, I'll be discussing anime fight scenes and their significance in storytelling. In anime, and in particularly the shonen genre, there is abundance of fight scenes. They are the lifeblood of most shows in the genre. For example, there is Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, and more recently there is Black Clover and Boruto. The primary focus of the fight scenes is to look cool. Most people just look at these fights and see them for what they are at face value, but people who are in control of choreographing use them to tell stories without words. Not all fight scenes are crazy deep philosophical explorations of the mind. Lots of them are just to further the story or to look cool. A good example of having fight scenes for the sake of them looking cool is a tournament arc. Tournament arcs are a good example of how fight scenes just show how much a character has improved. A fight that exists to further character development and has weight and meaning behind it is an example of a form of visual storytelling. A great example of this is one of the last fights in Naruto when it was finally ending. In this fight scene, Naruto is fighting his longtime rival Sasuke. In this fight scene, it takes place in the same place as the final battle of the original series. There is a deep meaning behind its location and the use of flashbacks to show the growth of the characters over time. It really makes you connect with them because you watched the characters grow up, so the fight is like a clash of ideas. This is a great example of a fight scene with weight, and they add a ton to the story. Fighting and anime go as well together as burgers and fries. The medium being animation allows for complex and powerful scenes that are difficult with live action. When the medium is used to its fullest, making fights seem impactful and emotional can make a series really stand out and lodge itself deep within your memory. I believe that is the impact of a great fight. Once again, this was Drew, and thanks for watching this segment of Anime Academy.
Thanks, guys. We are now going to take a short break, but when we come back, we will have our next installments of Taking a Bite in Scary Movie 101. Plus, we see what is the best James Cameron film on Showdown. Stay with us. Welcome back to Nerd Central. Let's take it straight to Taking a Bite with Katie. Katie?
Good evening, everyone. This is Taking a Bite with me, Katie, where we are going to be doing a shark showdown. Which shark movie is better, The Shallows from last week or Sharknado? Some of you may be thinking, is she serious? They aren't even comparable. The Shallows is way better. But a fun fact about me is the worse the acting, the more I enjoy. Sharknado is about a cyclone that hits Los Angeles, California, which causes the city to flood with sewer water that has sharks in it. The movie follows bar owner Finn, his ex-wife April, daughter Claudia, son Matt, and friend Nova. After the cyclone hits, a tornado warning is announced. Sharks are flying through the air. Finn's son Matt is in flight school, so he and Nova get into a helicopter to throw bombs into the tornado in hopes to stop the sharks from flying through the sky. As they are doing this, a shark latches onto the helicopter. Nova kills it, but falls out into another shark's mouth. Once all the tornadoes stop, one shark is flying directly at Finn and his family. He decides to jump into the shark's mouth with a chainsaw and cut his way out of the shark. Inside the shark was Nova, who Finn revived. When thinking about this storyline, it is definitely out there. And what I mean by that is not many people have the thought about a shark being able to eat someone, let alone eating someone who is holding a chainsaw. But that's what I enjoy about these types of movies, crazy out there ideas. And as I mentioned before, when the acting isn't the best, it makes the movie even better. In this case, I thought the acting made the movie. It's so bad that it's good. Now, when it came to the CGI, I was not impressed. I understand that compared to The Shallows, Sharknado's budget is nowhere close to similar, but I would have liked the movie to focus more of their budget on the CGI aspect. If Sharknado could keep the actors and get more funding for CGI, I don't think that there would be a movie that could beat it. But with it being a television movie, it is highly unlikely that they can get better CGI. I give Sharknado 2 out of 5 fins. Now it's time for this week's Shark Showdown. Which is better, The Shallows or Sharknado? I guess that all depends on how real you want the shark to look. Drum roll, please. You may have guessed it, the winner of this week's Shark Showdown is The Shallows. When watching a shark movie, the thing I look forward to the most is how realistic the shark looks. And no one can deny, The Shallows has one of the most realistic sharks ever. Join me next week to see if bait can beat The Shallows for next week's Shark Showdown.
Thanks, Katie. Some movie news for you guys. We have known for over a year that Disney is purchasing 21st Century Fox. Well, we are now a little bit closer to that happening. X-Men producer Lauren Schuler Donner stated that any X-Men movie in development is put on hold until at least after the merger is complete. Fox will still be releasing Dark Phoenix and New Mutants this summer, but after that, the world will belong to Disney, where they will most likely reboot the entire franchise to work within their already established cinematic universe. That doesn't mean that every Marvel Studios released X-Men film will have the PG-13 rating, however. According to Disney CEO Bob Iger, Disney will still release R-rated Marvel films, saying that there is popularity with films like the 2 Deadpool films and Logan. It is unclear if those films will be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or their own separate one, or even where they will stream after their theater run, as Disney will have Disney Plus along with a controlling stake of Hulu. We will just have to wait and see. Disney Plus is scheduled to launch sometime in the fall, with the merger expected to be finalized sometime before that. Now let's take it to Scary Movie 101.
Hello and welcome back to Scary Movie 101. I'm your host, Bailey Ramsier, and today we'll be going over the 2015 film, The Visit. Becca and Tyler board a train to Masonville, Pennsylvania to meet their grandparents for the first time, while their mom is on a cruise for a week. When they arrive, Becca starts filming for her documentary. Everything seems to be normal at first, but then Tyler starts to notice strange things going on with his grandparents, like taking dirty diapers to the shed and making Becca get in the oven to clean it. Becca just wants to believe it's because of their old age, but as the days go on, Nana and Pop Pop get even weirder. Nana scratches at the walls butt naked in the middle of the night, and Pop Pop attacks a nearby pedestrian for no reason. The two kids start to figure out that something is not okay. After Skyping their mom, they find out that who they have been staying with is not actually their grandparents. Becca ends up finding her actual grandparents dead in the basement. With all the crazy things that had been happening, Becca and Tyler strive to keep themselves alive after being attacked by the two strangers. The night comes to an end with the police showing up along with their mother. Becca ends her documentary with her brother rapping about their crazy week.
I may be 13, may not live in the hood, may not carry no chrome, may not be allowed a cell phone at dinner, but I'm young and can do 18 push-ups, and I speak the truth.
I enjoyed this movie in the aspect of it being comedic because of the comical factors of the random nudity of an old lady and scenes of Tyler using famous female names instead of curse words, and just of him rapping. On the scare scale, I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 10 because the movie has a few parts in it where it would make you jump, like when the old lady is chasing the kids under the house and when she randomly pops up in front of the camera, but not enough to scare the holy out of you. I wasn't a fan of how the movie was captured in the view of Becca making a documentary, although it was unique. I think it was a lazy way to do things. With Becca only holding the camera, it made the movie shaky, which at times made it hard to watch. The movie could have explained a little more about how the two grandparents got out of the psychiatric hospital and how they killed the real grandparents. Though this movie could have added a little more details and done better with the camera quality, it was a fantastic movie that gave you the heebie-jeebies. Thank you for watching Scary Movie 101, and we'll see you next week when we talk about Halloween.
Thanks, Bailey. If you missed the first installments of Digital Dreams, Anime Academy, Taking a Bite, or Scary Movie 101, it's on KNWT's YouTube page as part of a show called Nerd Central Continued. This week's show will have the next installments of Force Feeding, Behind the Magic, and Flight 828. Check it out. That's gonna do it for me. You can watch all of KNWT's amazing content at its YouTube page. You can follow KNWT on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and follow Nerd Central at nerd_central_TV. What was the best James Cameron film? I'll kick it over to Devin Van Zant for Nerd Showdown.
Thanks, Krista. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerd Showdown, the part of Nerd Central where we battle it out on a particular topic we have no business debating. I'm your host, Devin Van Zant, and with the release of Alita Battle Angel, we ask the question, what is the best James Cameron film? Keep in mind our fighters will be diving deep into each of their respective films, so this is your spoiler warning. Let's introduce those fighters. First, I have the creator of Force Feeding and Dead on Arrival, Cody Nance.
Hi, I'm defending Aliens.
All right. And his opponent, I have Northwest sophomore, Kyle Harris. Kyle, who are you defending?
Terminator.
All right. Well, when we come back, the showdown, Aliens versus Terminator, will commence. Welcome back to Nerd Showdown. Cody, are you ready?
I am.
Kyle, are you ready?
I am.
Then let's showdown. Cody, why don't you start us off? Why do you believe that Aliens is the superior James Cameron film?
Well, first and foremost, it introduces not one, but two of the most badass female protagonists in cinematic history, with Ellen Ripley and Vasquez. Vasquez with her amazing smart gun and her quick quips to Bill Paxton when he asks her if she's ever confused for a man, and she says, "No, are you?" And then obviously Ellen Ripley is an icon at this point and goes toe to toe with the Xenomorph Queen, not just a regular one, but the most powerful of them all, mano a mano, to protect Newt out of her motherly instincts. There are many great practical effects in this as well. The chest burster things are always amazing, and the xenomorph design on its own is one of my favorite alien creature designs in all of cinema. And yeah, it's pretty solid. One of the greatest sequels of all time.
Fair enough. Kyle, Terminator.
I think that perhaps no other sci-fi movie in recent history has contributed as much to our cultural lexicon as The Terminator. Iconic lines like, "I'll be back, come with me if you want to live," and even the introduction of Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie has added so much to the way we make movies and talk about movies. I think that the best thing going for it is its economical storytelling. It's tight. It's 45 minutes shorter than Aliens, and it does a great job of showing nothing but action in that time. Right away, we start in on a scroller that updates the audience with all the information they need to know to get the story going. We also have a great female protagonist in Sarah Connor. I think she's a well-rounded and human character that's not just one-sided, but she's a normal woman who's pushed beyond her limits and learns to overcome them and become greater than she was.
Awesome. All right, well, let's head to rebuttals. Cody, why do you think that Terminator is the weaker of the two films?
So Sarah Connor is mostly a damsel in distress for most of the movie. She needs Kyle Reese to save her a lot of the time, and for the superior, the 75% of the movie, Kyle Reese is the protagonist, not Sarah Connor. And honestly, at the end, when Sarah kills the Terminator, she just got lucky. Like, that Crusher thing, she had to be in the right place at the right time, and it just worked out for her. The effects in Terminator, not aging well at all. When he loses all of his skin, and it's nothing but that little but that CGI robot, it's really fake and clunky. I can't. Its movements just throw me off every time and out of the movie.
All right. Kyle, why do you think that Aliens is not as strong as Terminator?
Alien's biggest flaw is its runtime. As I said earlier, it's 45 minutes, almost exactly 45 minutes longer than the Terminator. And almost all of that time is used as setup. There's a lot of clunky dialogue and setup to re-educate viewers who maybe didn't see the first Alien movie and to introduce the new storyline. Which brings up the point that if we're comparing the best James Cameron films, it seems a little silly to me to pick a movie where he's building off of the work of another creator. It's much cooler to look at a world that he crafted completely on his own. I think that shows his skill as a filmmaker. I think that while Ripley and to a lesser extent Vasquez are good, strong females, they're very one-sided. Their toughness is their only personality trait, whereas Sarah Connor is a real human being with a life. She experiences romance. She learns to become tougher than she was. She grows as a human being, as opposed to the somewhat static characters of Ripley and Vasquez, who was pretty stereotypical at this point.
All right, fair enough. Cody, wrap yourself up here. Why do you think that Aliens is the best James Cameron film?
Once you get to LV-43, there's a feeling of tenseness that just doesn't drop for the remainder of the movie. You're always on edge, wondering where in the world these aliens could possibly be, if the guy working for Wayland is going to sell them out or not. And the relationship between Ripley and Newt, it is really touching, knowing that in the first 45 minutes of exposition, as my colleague here says, knowing that she had her own daughter, she lost that daughter. That's why she implants on Newt so much. And it introduces many great lines throughout history, including one of Bill Paxton's most famous of "Game over, man." And aliens are just scarier than Terminators.
All right. Kyle, why do you think that Terminator is the superior film?
Well, I think that, time and the public have told us that the Terminator's the right answer. If you ask your people on the street, people know the Terminator. People don't know Aliens that well. Most of what people know about the Alien franchise comes from the first film. And I think that no other movie has been quite so relentless in its action. The entire movie is pretty wall-to-wall action. It's almost like 1980s John Wick. So I think history has told us that it's the superior film.
That's going to do it for this week's Nerd Showdown. I believe this week's winner is Kyle with the Terminator franchise. Now, each week we have a Twitter poll regarding the topic at hand, and our Game Master James has been keeping an eye on it all week. James, how did the fans vote?
Alrighty, so we had 20 votes this week, and we had two separate polls, one running on Facebook and one on Twitter. So in a vote of 12-8, Terminator wins the public vote, which means the win goes to Kyle and Terminator. So,
You can head to Nerd Central's Twitter to vote for next week's poll. Nerdmageddon is coming up next. See you next week on Nerd Central.
You have to clean that up, right?
I think I'll get Andy to do it.
Good idea, we'll make Andy do it. Please tell me we can keep that in the episode.